Hello everyone, welcome to DW Randomizer, and for many of you, I'm sure, welcome back. This is our second broadcast race in our doubleheader for this evening. This one featuring Xarnax42, Zatrex17, Engidave, and jkoper. This is now week 2 of the Winter League. ValueV is your restreamer. Zillinor and Chirno are your trackers. And joining me, Archfield, to talk about this one is Aaron2U2.
Hey everyone. So the week 2 flags, this is our third race because we had one in between. The second one we're going to show. And the flags this week are pretty fun. This is probably the most standard feeling week, I think, of the entire tournament, as a lot of the flags tweak some basic functionality of the game. But like in an alternate world, this could actually be what standard would be, I think.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting changes here, a lot of sort of the fork flags, if you will, in the JUF iteration of the randomizer that show up here. A lot of these will be addressed as we sort of go through gameplay, but we'll see what happens as we get started here just momentarily. We do have a couple of different ways to open doors in this flag set. The doors are hurt-moreable. The keys will let you in as usual, but those are unbreakable, so if you find one of them, you'll be able to open any other door in the seed. That doesn't count for the throne room key, though, so you still have to use that to get out. Let's see, what else have we got here? So random chest locations is on. That, of course, has been in the randomizer for quite a while. A bunch of different places you might find chests. We've got some different things happening with gold in this one, too. It's unlikely that you're going to get much of a gold grind going in this one because the gold chest will only roll 5 to 20 gold. And but the king is ascetic, so Lorik will not take half of your gold when you die. There's more to talk about, but we're underway here. You see one of those small gold chests to open alongside a torch, and then we'll get our standard key at the back. Stats are pretty decent to start, it looks like.
Indeed, and I always like seeing Zatrex's sprite up there. He's got the chocobo, and he hurt more to the opening door to keep his key. Wow, that was smart.
That was pretty sharp. I hadn't seen the spell list yet because that does not show up on the tracker just yet. Hasn't rolled over there. So we don't even see that on the tracker itself now. So the fact that they started with that Hurtmore, it evaded my notice until Zatrex made a very adept play. So Hurtmore, of course, will open the doors, but if you get to keep your key, then you get that key forever. And it looks like there may have been a key in at least one key in the treasury, though, too.
True. Koper did a reset, doesn't even care about the gold chest to keep the key. And when he goes in here and just sees that there's a key, it's just going to feel like, oh, okay.
We do see Swamp North underneath Tanagel. We also see, as we go toward that back staircase, a treasure chest across the barrier tiles in the back of Tanagel, but we don't have enough hit points to get there yet, so we'll have to keep that one in the back pocket for later. There can, of course, be some chest locations in Swamp Cave as well, but neither Xarnax nor Engidave will get a chance to look at those because they have perished to very powerful enemies, and they are level 1.
Yeah, Xarnax looks like he killed something that gave 4 experience. I would normally say Ghost, but with the normalized experience gold flag, we're not 100% sure what it was that he killed, because it could be a few different enemies.
Zatrex is able to use his Hurtmore to take out that knight, and so he'll get a huge chunk of experience to go along with 37, 10, 11, 18, Sleep, and Healmore to jump to level 5 straight away.
Yeah, one of the, oh yeah, and Healmore, wow. So you got all the good spells already. Red Dragon's not going to do you a whole lot of good, though, unfortunately.
Xarnax in the field has picked up some experience as well. jkoper falls to a knight, and Engidave's still looking for level 2, or pardon me, for level 3. And we do see a cave on Xarnax's screen. Our first alternate cave of the seed so far, and it is Mountain Cave. Now, Xarnax did head straight up here. There are different chest locations that are available straight across from the staircase, but he might just be taking a look at that right now, perhaps. I will point out too, one of the flags, two of the flags that are on for this race are level 1 Radiant and level 1 Repel. So if you want some help finding those random chest locations, you can always spend some MP on Radiant. And we see Vanilla Chest 1 there in Mountain Cave. It's a fairy water.
And not using the Radiant though, so he might have, there still might be another chest there on the first floor, I think, that he just didn't see. He just saw the Radiant now, but it might take him to find a chest missing to kind of jostle him to, oh no, I guess he's just going to physically go find everything.
Yeah, it's pretty close. If you feel like you need to check that again, it's not that far out of the way to come back here. We see Zatrex now is in Mountain Cave, does use Radiant, and we see that that chest location is empty, so no sweat there for Xarnax. In that sense at least, although he is ejected from Mountain Cave by a golem. jkoper is going to use his herbs to get to this chest that is across the barrier tiles. Has enough HP to do that now. With the chest glitch active, we don't quite know what that is, but it's one of those things in his inventory screen. It's either wings or a cursed belt.
I think it was the wings. I think that's Zatrex was kind of hovering over it when he got it a little bit ago. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people, how aggressive people decide to be here at the beginning. With Hurt More, sometimes people get antsy feet and just start running off, and that's not always the best play, because sometimes you can wind up getting yourself killed a lot. And with Hurt More, you generally, anytime you die with a substantial amount of MP, it feels like a wasted death. So you have to be really careful about making sure you're getting as much experience as you can on every life.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not necessarily expect that to happen here. We have three, well, I should say two extremely experienced racers and one experienced racer in Zatrex. Xarnax and jkoper, of course, have been doing this since the very beginning. Engidave, this is his first Winter League, but has proven adept so far. I think that the Hurt More start can cause problems, and we're seeing our racers do a little bit of exploration and just try to pick up some experience as they go. But here we've got a Hurt Armored Knight and Hawksness for Engidave. So if it casts Hurt again, well...
It's going to be hard to not want to go back there sooner than later, but I don't think it's quite the play yet.
Probably not quite. And I will say, Zatrex right now has something of an experience lead, and of course experience leads themselves are somewhat fungible this early in a starting Hurt More seed. Having said that, he is spending a lot of time in this Mountain Cave and Swamp Cave first zone, so he's been finding those knights, and they're quite worthwhile. So we'll see if he makes any more progress here trying to clear this floor.
Yeah, that is one advantage too. In this particular seed, we have the level up refill flag on. So if you do get the level, you get all your stats back. So I would have noticed here at level 7, 60 strength. Now we have Hurt More already, but that's still quite a lot of strength for this early in the seed.
For sure. And I think your point about the level up refill is well taken too. You mentioned earlier, as jkoper is the first to take out this Armored Knight and Hawksness, we'll maybe see what the search spot is first. That is Erdrick's Sword. So you mentioned that big starting strength. jkoper now probably approaching 100 strength in the early going here at level 7. Yeah, on 100 on the dot. So a big pickup there, but the big stick close by in Hawksness. But to that point about the level up refill, you mentioned, you don't really want to take deaths if you can with magic points, but I think that's perhaps further heightened by the fact that when you do level up, you get those resources back, so you can stay in the field virtually indefinitely if you're in a good place to grind.
Yeah, and Zatrex right there was down to 8 hit points, but that knight's going to put him up to level 8, and he's going to get all of the hit points back, including the extra 3 that he got for that level, which is 39 at level 8. So we are pure glass cannon here. Ton of offense with the muscles, ton of offense with the magic, and just no endurance whatsoever.
Engidave is going to be our second racer to level 8. He's just pacing back and forth at the south end of Swamp Cave here. taking out these knights, which are guaranteed one shot with hurt more. And even if you get back attacked right now on 39 hit points, if you're topped off, you have a pretty good chance to survive, if not guaranteed to survive.
Yeah, now shout outs to Xarnax, who actually made it through. And we're going to see this on Zatrex's side in just a moment, but the armor is right there. Xarnax picked it up, and Zatrex just needs one step. And there we go. Now you have armor with hurt more and, you know, a ton of attack power and still no hit points.
And still no hit points. Yeah, so that's a nice find. Both pieces, we have eyes already inside of 10 minutes in this one. Eyes on both pieces of Erdrick's gear. jkoper picked up that sword from Hawksness. Several of our runners have seen Hawksness already, just a matter of getting through that Armored Knight. And yeah, I think the story of this one will be, when do the hit points pick up? How much exploration can you reasonably expect to get done with the resources where they are? Level up refill will help with that a little bit, of course. We've seen it buoy our racers already to this point.
Indeed. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Engidave approaching level 9 here will be our first racer to 9, continuing on this night grind. It's a thin level, 2314. Doesn't move the needle much, but decides to head through Swamp Cave nevertheless. Yeah,
in like that sort of grind, you kind of have to balance with, you know, what's my odds of making it around in the overworld. There's no absolute answer to that. It's just you kind of make a decision. But this seed is like screaming jet seed at you. It's really hard to settle down for too long. You know, take a level, and if the level isn't great, maybe peek around. And if you die, take another level. That sort of thought process.
Yeah, because you're pacing in tiles that are, say, brick tiles, and even if there's a good enemy there, there's no guarantee. I mean, you can easily find some other stuff in the overworld while you're exploring. Xarnax finds Garenham here, just to the east of Charlock Castle. There was some swamp here, and it looks like Zatrex has stumbled upon Hawksness. So we'll see our first legitimate town here. Got some full plate magic armor, silver shield. Those are unlikely to be within range of our racers, at least in the early going. Not that Xarnax needs any armor, he's already got Erdrick's. And we'll take a look at the two chests in the back of Garenham. Looks like an herb and another cursed belt, so I think that's our second belt.
Indeed, and we did see the bottom of tablet here, walking all the way around without the outside spell, just to get a key that we already have and we don't need.
All right, so Zatrex has picked up the sword, managed to get through that Armored Knight, and if this is a high percentage hurt Armored Knight, pardon me, then with level up refill particularly, you could maybe sit on this Armored Knight for a little while. 218 experience points, so even higher output than usual for that enemy.
Yeah, not too bad. Again, the Charlock enemies have the biggest sort of variance when it comes to experience, so that's a pretty good Armored Knight. You're pretty happy with that. They tend to roll up though more often than not.
Something we'll want to keep an eye on for later, that was Staff of Rain trade in the basement of Garenham. It's the one quest item we haven't seen so far. The Silver Harp's still outstanding. We would need that in order to trade for the Staff of Rain.
I felt like a little bit of an unlucky death for Zatrex, but I do want to point out the king is rather yellow in this seed for Zatrex because of his sprite, and I just think that's funny with what's called the ascetic king flag, but you could also say it's just basically King Midas there. He's just loaded with money. He doesn't need yours.
That's right. He's just gilded. He's gilded Lorik. Xarnax has found Rim, and he actually entered with the random town entrances flag on. He just entered over by the key shop, but of course does not need keys, so he just has to walk all the way around now. There are 2 chests so far behind the doors here in Rim. That's 8 gold for a start. And the second chest will be a torch, so not much to write home about there. And I think to your point, Zatrex may be just getting a little bit unlucky here. That might be about a 50% hurt on that Armored Knight. And he did have 29 hit points and get hit meleeed for 30, so that was not an ideal outcome.
it might be worth just throwing out a heal if you get ambushed, just until he gets the hurts. But I don't know. It's so close to start, and dying doesn't quite cost you, the money, which he's not going to really need at this point. All he needs to find is one large shield, and he is done. The only way you can really get to silver in this is if you end up in a grind with a bunch of goldmen, and the goldmen happen to have enough experience that you actually want to do it, or you end up at an extraordinarily high go level.
Yeah, those pieces of equipment generally out of range when the most you can hope for from a gold chest is 20 gold. So just taking a peek at our experience here, Zatrex has maintained a lead. Engidave is just 2 experience away from level 10. jkoper is now at level 9, Xarnax at 8, and Xarnax, speaking of Xarnax, has just found Stone's Cave, which is empty. No chests.
Poor old man can't even afford a chest today. It would be funny though if he had one and it was just the 5 to 20 gold.
It's just the poverty chest guy. He's just hanging out in his cave with pocket change, stuff that he found in his couch.
That is one side effect of this flag, the gold tweak, is that you just, like, your average chest is devalued. It's just not as interesting. So you don't, like, you're going to have to grab every chest you possibly can, because that's just how the game works. But your return on your effort is not quite as high.
Zatrex picks up level 11 for, it was 1122 on the hit points and magic points, so a decent resource boost there. Seems to have tracked down a zone that might just be worthwhile if you're looking for a little scaffold grind. There were Magi Wyverns, Knights, and Rogue Scorpions all there. But I think he's satisfied with that output on level 11 and has decided to move on, and for his efforts has found Grave. So of course there are 3 random chest locations potentially on the left side of the cave. Finds the first one there, just gold chest.
Sorry, yeah, the hit points are up a little bit. You can survive a DL2 breath now, but I don't see any reason to get super aggressive yet. And he's in Grave. He did peek around the west side. It's the thing, once you start going left in Grave, when you come back, you always kind of forget which stairway to go up on.
It's true. There's all those fake outs that are right before the place where you want to be. But speaking of places you might want to be, Grave is one of those places. Silver Harp, located in what we are usually the top 3, just a top 2 today in this seed. But Zatrex now has all 3 quest items and has found coal, and has a couple of decent grind options here. So if he finds a silver shield, he's just about set. Just has a little bit of trading to do, and then some grinding to do.
Yeah, shoot, you almost don't even want to check, but to check the towns and try to go without a shield, but I don't know, that's probably not the way. Just pick up the flute, that gives him a few other options, but I'm not sure you go past that armored knight. I think there was it a red dragon in swamp, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a little out of reach now, and we'll see how that guy rolls too. The Star Wyverns were 142 experience, so yeah. They tend to roll up in this flag set. When we were kind of working on the values here, we had this judgment that Star Wyverns were just really bad return on investment because they're harder than like half the enemies that have more experience than them, just like right above them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. They're certainly not in sort of more standard flags, not in an ideal spot on the return versus reward, or pardon me, the effort versus reward spectrum. So in this particular seed, they did pick up a little bit of a boost there, certainly more worthwhile. Zatrex is continuing to check shops, has found a large shield here in Brecconary, so for all intents and purposes, just has to figure out where his trades are. I don't believe that he has seen Garenham yet. I could be mistaken. I think Xarnax and now Engidave are only 2 racers who have found Garenham so far. So still a little bit of homework to do. Xarnax has picked up Erdrick's sword out of Hawksness and is maybe thinking about trying to repeat this armored knight fight.
Yeah, I mean, might as well grind if you can right now. You got so much of everything, and 40 hit points is brutal to try to explore with. Oh, and he gets the bad luck, the 1 in 16.
And not only some bad luck there, but just on that, missed the hurt more, got meleeed high. I will say that I think that was the first time I'd seen the small heal come out from the Armored Knight. Granted, the battles move pretty quickly with speed hacks on. So especially with 4 racers, hard to tell if we've seen that before or not. But that does mean that the Armor Knights have both of those small spells. And that's actually a good thing because the heal cannot possibly thwart a second hurt more kill. So that's just a wasted turn on the part of the Armor Knight there. Maybe enhances that grind just slightly. jkoper was able to look at the coordinates there in Cantlin. There were no coordinates, so we have nothing in the overworld. There's not really much left to find that could be there. Just the death necklace, I think, is the only potential search item we haven't seen so far.
Yeah, we've seen all of our search spots, so it's really, there's still grave we haven't seen. Zatrex hasn't been checking the items or the chests in the towns that he's come across either, so it's very unlikely that he will find it. There's a potential situation if someone else finds it that could be at an advantage, but looking at the stats the way they are with hit points very low and strength very high, it's probably not going to be mission critical.
Yeah, and you could even make an argument that if it's in deep grave or something like that, or worse yet, there are so many random chest locations in Charlock where the death necklace might be that it very easily might just not be worth the effort at all to try to hunt that down. So as you say, with the stats where they are, probably does not make too much sense to even think about searching for it.
Now, with that said, though, the level that Zatrex got, 12 there, did come with 20 hit points. So now we're starting to look like real, kind of getting around to real endgame stats. And for him, it's just a matter of finding Garanham, and then wherever our raindrop cave is. Have we seen that one?
If we have, well, I should say if one of our runners has, I have not. For what it's worth, Zatrex might end up likely to wrong order this one, actually, because I think Garanham was actually really close to start, was it not?
I think so. The way I'm thinking is that it's not through Swamp, and I think all this exploration is kind of resulted from Swamp.
Having said that, Zatrex did just find his way back to Hawksness, so I wonder if we're not dealing with a single Khanid here.
True. Now we do see Garanham on Koper's side, which he came in from the east, which was different than what Xarnax did. So he'll be able to check his. He'll see the information and not be able to do anything with it just yet. But it's good to know. It's good to get that information out of the way. Sometimes you really you almost ideally want to see the Staff of Rain cave after you get the harp. But, sometimes just finding it early, even if it doesn't feel like it's the best routing, ends up saving you from having to do some sort of full clear seed search.
Exactly, and it always pays a little bit to find Staff of Rain Cave before you find the Rainbow Drop Cave, just so you have eyes on it. Xarnax seems intent to stay here in Hawksness. He's clearly not happy with his resource situation. It appears to have paid off to a certain extent. He's about 500 experience points now behind Engidave, who is just at level 12. Zatrex, though, still holds a decent experience lead and now is in his grind too. And I think I see a new cave here on jkoper's screen, which is going to be the Rainbow Drop Cave. It's off kind of at a far east edge of the map, if that straight line is to be believed.
That's interesting, because that seems to indicate that it's not too far away from Cantlin, or not Cantlin, Charlock and Garanham. So it's possible all that stuff will kind of fall into place. And he found Rim. Did Zatrex find Rim?
I'm not sure if... I don't believe that Zatrex did. I know for sure that Xarnax did, but I think... not sure now. It's a good question.
Did you say not Chirno?
No, well, Chirno's not playing the seeds, so...
We do want to thank Chirno and Zillinor for helping us with tracking today. Just giving them, random shout out there. Just a little poke.
gotta let them know that we know they're there.
And Zatrex he's still going. Engidave is kind of. I don't recognize a lot of the places he's been. He does not have Repel up, which is an interesting choice considering how amazing your stuff is. But he hasn't found Hawksness, or if he has, he hasn't got back to it to get that sword. I mean, that's really all there is for everyone is Hawksness and Grave, and I guess Breck for a shield. Although I guess jkoper got his large shield from Caitlyn, so there's your options, and then I guess Garanham.
Yeah, that's about the size of it. Zatrex, our first racer, to level 14. A decent level there now. We see that hit points have hit 99. Attack power's at 123, so that has kind of balanced back out again. We're still not quite go as of level 14.
It does put him in a situation now where the Red Dragon is eminently fightable. I'm not sure it's necessarily going to be better than the Armor Knight, which is a very strange thing to say, because that's normally never the case. But Red Dragons have, I think, the highest variance possible. They can go from like 280 to 400. So a sub 300 Red Dragon might not be terribly fun.
Yeah, and I will say at this point, the levels are still close enough together that with over 200 a pop for those Armored Knights, you can probably kill enough of them in one cycle to get your level up refill and just keep on going if you want to. It's basically what Xarnax has been doing. He's actually put 1,300 experience points of distance between himself and the next closest racer, Engidave, and is now in second place in the experience race and is rapidly closing on level 14, might even approach Zatrex's experience because Zatrex has taken the field again.
He finds yeah, there it is, South Swamp. So he's a little too low to find. Oh, he failed. Okay, yeah, there's not. There has to be. Okay, thank you, Map. Map likes to do fun things. So I feel like he's going to see, I had it completely backwards when I said it was swamp. I think it was the opposite. It was he wasn't doing the swamp exploration and the other runners were. So I feel like he might find everything else he's looking for here in a little bit. If that is the, that's Tablet. Okay, we've seen that one before. He's not going to go in it.
Yeah, he's got everything he needs except for possibly the Fighter's Ring or the Death Necklace, but it doesn't really seem like those are going to be mission critical in this seed, especially because you've got at least one good grind to fall back on.
And he doesn't seem to be a big fan of this area. It's actually kind of open out. Maybe he saw the north end and was just kind of hugging it there, but he's kind of doing these giant horizontal laps across the map, which feels I wouldn't say strange, but there's Charlock, and
there's Charlock, and he's gonna they'll see Garanham across the water, but I don't think it's accessible from this side. He has to go up and around.
A minor inconvenience, I think.
No Erdrick's rowboat in this seed.
And we did have the flag idea once that once you had the rainbow drop, you should be able to put it down on any body of water. And just every time you do it, the screen flickers and the bridge appears. And so if you want to make a bridge across a whole bunch of water, you can just keep using it over and over.
Seems totally fine to me.
It'd be very slow if it's more than 2 or 3 things, but I could see somebody, especially if they're already out of the race, just filling up every water tile with bridges. So Engidave did get the harp, so he's just looking for that shield now too, and probably also Garanham. I don't recall seeing him get there yet.
I think he was maybe in Garanham. Yeah, I think Engidave was maybe in Garanham.
So it's the elusive grave for Xarnax and Engidave, except Xarnax is in grave, so not so elusive anymore.
Not so elusive, and worth pointing out that Xarnax has already seen Staff of Rain trade-in, and he's just 39 experience points shy of, of Zatrex. Almost shouted out Cheerno again. But Xarnax, if he can survive Grave, which seems likely, he'll be able to pick up his harp, and then we'll be kind of in a race to get to go mode. Zatrex, however, I don't believe has seen Rainbow Drop Cave yet, so he's still got some territory to explore to get that now that he has all 3 quest items.
I'm pretty certain he's almost there. We did see that on the East Coast, and he's just been walking up the East Coast all this time. Just find Caitlin and just leaves, like, nope.
Yeah, looks like he's going to trace his way back along the interior waterways here. Maybe we'll head east after this is dead-ended.
Yeah, Xarnax is still peeking around Grave. Again, oh, you know what? Never mind.
He's just
isn't done.
Yeah, he's just done west side so far, so he's headed toward the Vanilla 3 in a moment here, I think.
Chat discussing how to deal with the annoying NPCs. I think we should just set them so none of them move. They're all just frozen in place. Maybe we can claim the Dragon Lord did that or something. I don't know.
I would even be in favor of just reskinning them as statues, just grayscale, and just pretend that the Dragon Lord just turned all of them to stone. I think that would work.
Yes, every NPC that can still move is petrified. Well, not petrified, but scared to move because they know if they move, they'll get petrified, I guess. I think jkoper gets through this werewolf. He's going to pick up 12. He's lagging a little bit behind in the levels and just hasn't been able to find Grave, which it feels like the exploration in this map has been a little funky. I think just because of how open it is. There's just a lot of giant areas that I think have taken people some extra time to kind of sweep through.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's not much in the way of boundaries, so it's just pretty wide open. There's some, little landmarks here and there, but it is just a lot of walkable land, it feels like, compared to maybe similar maps of this size. So Xarnax, I think, has wound all the way back around and is at Mountain Cave now, and is just trying to find the Rainbow Drop Cave, probably going to head east from here, I would imagine.
It is possible he's looking for a town with a shield too. That's one question here, because even though Koper is going to be our last to the harp, he knows where everything is, and he has a large shield, so he's not going to be, messing around in any towns. So he might, even though he's a little bit behind in experience, the grind is rather obvious, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to kind of relax a little bit more once he gets through it. This Stone Man is being a giant pain in the butt, though.
Yeah, that was an unpleasant encounter, to be sure. Xarnax, at minimum back in Garenham, will be able to trade for his Staff of Rain as jkoper simultaneously, roughly. Drops Cursed Belt to pick up the Silver Harp, so he now has all 3 of his quest items.
We were talking before about the possibility of the Swamp Spike. It seems like Zatrex is perfectly happy this Armor Knight, picking up level 15, which is 4, 1, 3, 10. That's kind of close.
It's kind of close, and I could see a scenario here where if you picked up a little bit more experience, you might decide to dive and just fight stuff and pick up level 16 in your refill and hope that that's enough. But I think it's a little sketchier because one of the things you might hope for is an extra heal more, and since you've just landed on the dot on a multiple of 8, then that's like cuts off a little bit of an avenue toward maybe just getting the resources you need. It's just tacking an extra heal more on is a little bit harder when you're already on that value.
Yes, there's basically well, I don't know. Just if the number doesn't hit an exact 8, you're not getting anything extra. So my math at this point runs this to be about a little bit more than 15 swings on 11 heal mores. So he's -2, and that's again with like 5 fairy waters. I'm pretty sure he got the flu, so that would be the max. And that, again, you might just want to grind instead of doing that if you don't really want to go to wherever Breck or Cantlin are. And Cantlin's sort of close. I don't remember where Breck was. I feel like it was way out in the middle of nowhere.
I think it was pretty far off. I think it was, yeah, in one of the most distant locations on the map. So, having said that, Zatrex just about a minute ago picked up level 15 and is already about half of the way to level 16. So this grind is not going to take very long.
Indeed, and this, we talk about how to approach the end game with the level up refill. There is a reason to want to possibly dive with a little, to actually grind or whatever to go down there. It relieves a lot of the pressure on the grind itself, or on the dive, where you can just use heal mores and you can repel if you had the defense for it and all that, and not be terribly worried about how that's going to go, and you can just get the level near the end or fight interesting enemies on the way down. I think the decision to do that might be a little bit overrated by players, though. I kind of worry that we're going to see a lot of people just dive Charlock and try to gain levels that way. When you have a pretty good grind, I feel like that kind of wins.
Yeah, the encounter rate in Charlock being 1 in 16, even if you have good enemies and say they roll up and you're, just swimming in experience in Charlock, it's still hard to beat something like the grind that Zatrex is doing right now that is over 200 a pop, and it's an encounter guaranteed every other step. And especially with heal and hurt on the Armored Knight, the resource usage is lower. And with the level up refill, you can just continue to stay there, 2, 6, 7, 14. I think that is probably about the ticket.
Yeah, 12 heal mores, I'd say on average 16 swings, maybe 15. You can reduce that by 1 with the fairy water. That is a tight go, but that might be worth...
tight.
Yeah, that might be worth, again, like get half of the level and then go, or something like that, to where you don't have to fight a lot of things. Just maybe 1 or 2 enemies or something, again, that's very favorable, like a Star Wyvern, that's worth a lot of experience, or, more of these guys.
One thing that I don't think we knew about until just now that might put a dent in that plan is that the wizard woke up with Wombo.
Oh, wow. I saw the deal.
Xarnax unfortunately did not wake up. He got put to sleep and DL2'd. But that's... you're not going to really like to see that. If you have a large shield, it won't be an issue because you can repel that wizard away, but Zatrex, the only one of our runners... pardon me, jkoper also has a large shield, that's right. But Xarnax, no shield so far.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bit of a pain. We're, looking at the different experience levels right now. Again, Zatrex is way out in front because he's basically on his endgame grind. It's unfortunate for Xarnax because I think he died before. Yeah, he died before he was able to get to the heart trade-in, and I think that's pushing him in a different direction. It seems like now he's digging around a little bit. Maybe Death Necklace, maybe Fighter's Ring, doesn't want to miss out on it.
Entirely possible. He was able to trade his for his staff, so he is just looking for Rainbow Drop Cave now. And it looks like maybe I saw Zatrex just now returned from his grind short of the next level, so maybe has now just said, you know what, gonna restore those resources and maybe start the dive and then just take whatever additional experience you need and get the level up refill in Charlock. Kind of, as you said, kind of use that more as a safety and not just I'm gonna dive and grind out 3,000 experience in Charlock. He just has a little bit less than 800 to go until the next level, so he can afford to be very choosy and then just try to time it out so maybe he gets that level on the spike tile. And then that would stand him in pretty good stead, particularly if he has fairy water and gets a little bit of boost in resources or strength.
Yeah, in this situation, it doesn't not look like... I don't think he has fairy water. I don't think he's going to try it. Again, if you get all the way down to the basement of Charlock and you're just a little bit short, you either just, try it anyway, or you just keep grinding down there. Unless the spike in the bottom zone are like really awful, both of them being pretty awful, I think you can just keep just get the level down there. And we've seen at least one of the week 1 races where we had somebody get 3 levels in in Sharlock and not leave, and they didn't even have the level of refill. So
yeah, so that's a possibility. Can definitely be finessed even without level up refill, and with it, one would expect that you would not necessarily need to leave Charlock for the rest of the seed once you decide to enter it. It's just a matter of your level of efficiency and how many more levels you need. In Zatrex's case, he's kind of in a thin situation where even on his current stats, he could fight the Dragon Lord. Some Fairy Water would definitely help, but I'm sure he is hoping for at least a couple more strength here. Or, 3 more Hero Mores, whatever. Just give it to us.
Yeah, or, 15 hit points. That might be enough.
Yeah, and if you could bank some doubles, then that would definitely help a little bit, or at least put yourself in a situation where you might be able to.
I would say by my math, he is -2 swings, but my math is kind of a little bit high. I think if he went 1 less swing, he would still do like 157, 158. So it's not really that bad, and yeah, like 2 strength might be enough.
Yeah, 2 strength over, say, 15 swings, if you can get 15, would look pretty good, but maybe it will be moot. Maybe this level will give us what we need, 3086.
Yeah, it's pretty solid, but he did take the level rather early, so he basically has to go into normal Sharlock dive mode now.
Yeah, just really gonna have to run from everything, because now the level gap between 17 and 18 is such that you would need to take, another 2,000 plus experience points. And that's actually kind of a tough ask. It always seems like you could maybe get that much, but there's not even guarantee that you'll encounter that amount worth of monsters in Charlock necessarily. So it's a risk. If you'd be hard committing to taking the next level if you decided to burn any resources here.
Yeah, and you can't, and especially with the change with what we call the Mercy Rule, the 3rd run fleet, like you can't not go really if you can win. If you are ahead, you have to dive. There's no, Sharlock might be nasty or whatever. You just have to do it.
Yeah, 100%. So Zatrex making good progress here. Unfortunately, our other runners are being thwarted a little bit. Xarnax is still on the hunt for Rainbow Drop Cave. Engidave is still on the hunt for Rainbow Drop Cave. They're both sitting with 7,600 and 6,300 experience respectively. And meantime, jkoper is taking a look at the Princess Gwaelin Cell chest, which is the Fighter's Ring. That could actually be pretty meaningful toward the end of this race.
That's nice. I don't know, that actually might make 16 winnable. That extra 2, we were just talking about needing to attack, so that might be it.
Yeah, that's it doesn't seem like much, but it is essentially worth about 0.75 damage a swing. So if you think of it that way, over the course of 10 swings, you should expect to do 7.5 more damage over the course of 10 swings, and then that would put that at 15 damage over the course of 15 swings. So that's not right. I mathed wrong. 12.5.
I will trust whatever you say, even if I know it's wrong.
Let's go. Let's say it's 12, 13. Anyway, the easy way to think of it is for every 10 swings with the Fighter's Ring, you're going to do 7.5 more damage. So that that's essentially makes up the difference in that swing there on level 16, but does still make things very thin. Having said that, Axe Knight on the Spike Tile, Zatrex has already completed most of his dive.
Yeah, he just makes it about 12 more steps, and he is on the fight. I do want to mention, jkoper is slid back in here. He looked like he was a bit off of pace, but although that, I think it was an accident. He swung and did not get killed at 27 hit points. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, the Golem's range. The Golem's range with 82 defense, I think, is mineral is 19. So, yeah, make of that what you will. But yeah, got fortunate to survive there. Don't know if this Golem is worth much. It's 302, so that's a good chunk of experience. We'll jump him up to level 14. But we have Zatrex's Dragonlord fight underway with a 13 to open, and he'll get a double for 27 to start.
Yeah, massive favorite at this point. Didn't lose anything. Just needs the rolls to go his way and to not, mess up.
13, 14, 15 to start. If the next roll is not a 16, I call shenanigans. Now it's another 15. 57 through 4 swings.
He could do 16, so I double checked that.
He could.
13, 14, 15, 15, 14 now.
Okay, 13? No, that's a 15. These are pretty good rolls, too. These are amazing rolls. 86 damage after 6 swings. That's a 9. A little more realistic, 95 now.
The inevitable return to the mean. That was pretty insane section there. 12 is still a good roll. That's right in the middle.
12 is still a good roll. 107 now. And follows that 9 with an 11, so now is at 127. And then gets a double.
Yeah, a little cheeky double. He is going to end this with so many resources.
He really is. That's a 14. Could have killed there. Did not quite. This next swing is not guaranteed, so prudently Healmores. This one could easily do it. That's a 14. That'll clear the range at 167. And everybody, if you would, please get your GGs out in chat for Zatrex17, who has followed up his first place in week 1 with a first place in week 2. Now one of our racers with 10 points as week 2 starts off.
And that final time of 44:29, which is the best that it's going to be one of the best Winter League times that when you have a seed like this, which is again mostly standard. This is not even crazy like low experience small map. This is just a lot of good stuff right off the bat and a very solid grind nearby.
Yeah, starting armor with a not starting armor, starting hurt more with armor really close by, and a pretty good grind will tend to do that. Having said that, Zatrex still finished this before anybody else got into Charlock, so an excellent performance from him.
And I believe we have him in the booth. If you are here as Zatrex, say hello and GG.
Yeah, that seed was stupid. What the heck?
Yeah, it's difficult to think of a scenario in which you might be able to find a seed of this flag set that would go much faster than that. What was going through your mind as you were going through this one? Did it feel like you kind of had to, move a little hair on fire as it was going, or were you feeling pretty relaxed about it as you progressed?
No, having so many key items right next to start made me feel like, oh god, everyone is moving at like lightning speed right now, especially with that frickin' spike tile and Hawksness right there. My goodness.
Yeah, it's a pretty excellent grind, and especially once you were able to get into it, things just kind of snapped into place for you. If you're checking out the stream at all now, you were finished with a seed before anybody else had entered Charlock. It looks like jkoper is going to take the let's just get in here and grind out some levels inside Charlock strategy. He just now hit level 15. Having entered, does have the fighter's ring as our only runner with that, and as Aaron and I were discussing it, could shift his go level potentials a little bit. But just back to your run, Zatrex, when you were doing your exploration, so this map, Aaron and I, it's of course difficult to get a read on what the map is really like when you're trying to keep track of 4 racers. But from your perspective, it just felt like, was the map really wide open? It just seemed like there wasn't much in the way of landmarking.
Yeah, this is one of my least favorite kind of maps to map, because it's like, normally I like to follow coastlines and get a feel of the shape of the place so I can remember where things are, and this was just like, there were a couple of lakes and then just like flat land everywhere. But I think you noticed at one point I backtracked all the way to a top corner and just started doing like I was on a printer, like going back and forth, because that's the only thing you can do to keep it in your head.
Yes, Aaron actually mentioned that at the time. It was just pacing back and forth. Now that you mentioned the best possible comparison is like just a dot matrix printer. But in the end, it did the job. You were able to find everything. Speaking of finding everything, Engidave has tracked down Rainbow Drop Cave finally. I think Xarnax might be on the correct route here to do the same, and they're still pretty close here. Xarnax actually has an experience lead over the other two racers, just has not been able to track the Rainbow Drop down yet. So Zatrex, curious if you thought there were any other sort of hangups in the seed. As fast as everything went, were there any particular points of difficulty that you found, or just was it mostly just a cruise?
Yeah, I think part of what made me nervous for the whole thing was my start of dying to Stonemen like 2 or 3 times in Mountain Cave, and then seeing what was down there, I was like, oh god.
Yeah, and I think after you kind of, started to get over the hump there, what you ended up doing, and I think you were in Hawksnest the longest early on. I'm trying to remember for sure. I think you even took some deaths there, but just kept going at it. And I think that helped a lot because the other runners weren't, like, they would get killed by the Armor Knight and they wouldn't go back. But I think you just kept going back. And the luck finally, was a little bit more in your favor over time, which I think helped a lot.
Yeah, I saw they had hurt. I think my first fight they were using it. They used it like twice in a row, so I felt like it was relatively safe, and then of course it killed me a few times. So at some point I was like, dying over and over again is going to be inefficient. Let me go explore some more and like loop back around in a level or two. So that's what I ended up doing. Let myself at least be able to take 2 hits from the axe, and then I really cranked out the levels on my second visit.
So Engidave is now into Charlock. jkoper has just hit the 12 o'clock position in the final basement. And he has, let's see, he's picked up some experience, about 1,000 experience on his dive so far, but still needs, about 1250 to get to level 16. So has some work to do in that regard, but is fighting this golem, which is worth 300. So we'll see what he decides to do on level 16 if he wants to take another level here. Speaking of 16, Xarnax has got it. But the one thing Xarnax does not have is the one thing that he most needs, and that is the Rainbow Drop.
And unfortunately for him, I think he bailed in the far east direction. Maybe he's going back to it now because that was swamp, which is kind of more in the south. And I think he just didn't... I know he was in Cantlin too, so he's been over in that area. Just wasn't able to place it, because if I remember right, it was just like northeast of Cantlin, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. And I wonder now, thinking back, there was that death that he just kind of took to that wizard. And I wonder if that wasn't in a spot that ended up being really costly and it sent him a different direction. But we can, if he comes in, we might be able to ask him about that after the race. But in the meantime, still a lot to play for here. jkoper is approaching the spike tile. If he takes out this golem, he'll be most of the way to level 16 in that all-important refill.
Yeah, and the fact he keeps getting the golems too. I mean, the spike is in Axe Knight, which isn't worth a ton of experience if I remember right, but that's still pretty solid. So actually, I was a little bit worried until I, remembered that. And yeah, now it's just a matter of do you kill this? Do you keep trying to get golems? But he's definitely going to be in a lot better shape at 16 with the fighter's ring, just based on the math, I believe.
Yeah, and I think my read of jkoper is that he will tend to play these situations pretty aggressively, so I think he'll at least strongly consider just taking the fight on 16. But Xarnax, meanwhile, has found the Rainbow Drop, has returned immediately, is going to top off in Garenham, and one assumes on level 16 already, he's actually exactoed level 16. That he'll probably head into Charlock too. Whether he wants to take another level or not, I'm not sure, but he also has the fighter's ring. So he can, perhaps more strongly consider 16 than he might be able to otherwise. And I guess we'll get a sense of what he does as he starts to enter here, but Engidave, I think, is in basement 3. And so the race between the two of them, because Engidave still has some experience to collect, could be pretty tight as we get down the stretch here. jkoper takes out that Axe Knight, and yeah, wow, I might have understated it there a little bit. 97 on the Axe Knight. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, he's going. I'm not sure. Does Xarnax have the fighter's ring? I don't remember seeing him ever go into swamp to get it.
It is showing up in the stats, I feel like, because his stats are identical to jkoper's. I don't have the equipment up right now, so I assume.
I think that they added our tracker added the fighter's ring when you said he had it, which I assume you were looking at because the AP was the same as Koper, but Xarnax was actually a level behind at that point.
Oh, that might have been a me mistake then. And if I threw off the trackers, then I'm incredibly sorry.
But ultimately, it's their fault.
No. It's Archfield's fault. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna have to zoom in a little bit here on Koper, but Zatrex, do you have any final thoughts about the seed in general?
Honestly, it was such a blur. I mean, it felt unfair looking at this. Like, I got a great Charlock dive. I found everything in the right order. Dragon Lord was relatively kind to me, so like, well played to everybody else.
You pretty much nuked. You basically nuked the Dragon Lord. That was really something.
Yeah, I wasn't banking on having 30 MP at the end.
Yeah, well, when in Winter League to beat 3 other people, you have to play well and get lucky. You pretty much have to do both. So, unless you get a really sick chaos seed, and then who knows?
I think jkoper picked up a double. I am counting. I have 94 for him at the moment. I'm not sure if that was a double or not, but if it was, it essentially cinches the fight for him, assuming that his rolls don't just suddenly turn terrible.
That's awesome. Yeah, getting a double on 109 is pretty crazy, especially without a silver. Yeah, Beta in chat's talking about it. He's just thinking about how often he can't get anything like that in the vanilla speedruns.
Oh, and jkoper had some fairy water in the back pocket too, so yes, I think he's free and clear here. 131 now with 3 Healmores left and 1 more fairy water to chuck. A couple of good fairy water rolls too. 145 is what I've got.
Oh, that's should be no problem. And was 154. I don't remember what we had with Zatrex. I always lose track of the counting.
I think the Zatrex cleared the range. I think he was on maybe 156 before the end, and that clears the range too. So we don't even have a good beat on it yet, just what the Dragon Lord's max HP is. But not something jkoper has to worry about anymore. He's going to take 2nd place in this race and pull down those important 3 points here in week 2. If I'm not mistaken, jkoper had 2 points coming into this race, so that would put him at 5, heading into the position round in week 3.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can happen. I think Koper has been on the low end and stormed back before. Seems like every year there's someone who is very low in the points and then wins like the last 3 races. I think both Hoodie and Angel last year had that experience, but 5 points isn't anything close to being bad yet, so and there's still plenty of work to go.
Well, take a look at what's happening on our screen right now. Engidave's level up scroll, and he's going to check his stats, and Xarnax is going to check his stats, and they're going to roll into, oh no, Armored Knight. Okay, go away, Armored Knight. Virtually simultaneous Dragon Lord fights upcoming here for Xarnax and Engidave with a point on the line. So we'll see what happens here. This could be interesting, and of course, what you're seeing on screen, whenever the streams are this close, I always caution people not to diminish the moment. Enjoy it for what it is, but also the race room is the real determiner here, so whether or not we've got some stream lag involved, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens as this unfolds, but it does at least look like Engidave's going to get a swing on deal 2 before Xarnax can enter the fight.
Yeah, Xarnax doesn't get the opening game, or she gets the opening double. Engidave struggles a little bit more. Again, if we're looking at this live, those extra swings might be important. This is a fight where both could go in, either of them or neither. Like, we don't know because it is a very tight window to win this.
Yeah, and even something like a double, never mind the increase to your chances to win the fight anyway, but it's also just going to make the fight go slightly faster. So that plays into it too here. We did see jkoper pick up that perhaps unexpected double on level 16. So maybe one will be in the waiting here, but as you said, Xarnax's fight at least opened a little bit better than Engidave's did. Xarnax has some Fairy Water too. He's already unloaded those, does 13 on his second roll. I am not counting either fight. I should have picked one and rolled with it, but I didn't do it, and now I'm clueless. Some might say that is my usual state.
And chat pointing out, Dave got a double, Engidave, so that, equalizes at least that opening ambush that he got.
Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't even tried to count. It would be about impossible for me. So we're just going to have to watch and let the game tell us what's going on. The MP situation has evened up quite a bit. I think there might be some menuing speed issues going through here where Xarnax might actually be catching up slightly.
Xarnax is an extremely adept menuer. One of the best as far as I'm concerned, and does a lot of his input work is very good. So might see that, but there, Engidave at least has defeated the Dragon Lord, and Xarnax on his last swing also has defeated the Dragon Lord.
So GG's out in chat to both of our runners finishing up, and it does appear that Engidave has finished in third with a 59-13. Xarnax following up, and we'll see what that time difference is. It is a whopping 8 seconds, 59-21. So it was close all the way down to the end there. And I mean, Xarnax was on the fight slightly earlier, so there was a little bit of RNG maybe involved, but that's just how it goes with Sharlock and with the Dragon Lord. But GG's to both of them. Great finish to the end of this race.
Great finish, and everybody finishes this one sub-hour. Testament to the type of seed that it ended up being. But for Xarnax, that'll give him the 1 point for the fourth place finish. He'll sit on 4 points now heading into week 3. Engidave had 2 points coming into this week, picks up 2 points in this race as well, so will also be on 4 points. Who knows? The two of them might end up meeting again in week 3.
It's definitely possible. So, but welcome in, jkoper, GG on the race. What were your thoughts overall with this one?
Yeah, it was mostly a pretty easy seed. Start with hurt more, so just had to find the stuff. That is a crazy time from Zatrex, though. Yeah, not sure how I would go about accomplishing that if I were him, but yeah, don't know if it's just a exploration luck or what. Maybe he had a good grind somewhere. Hello?
Jeez.
GG.
GG's everyone.
GG.
Man, that map destroyed me.
Oh, same here, dude.
I could have gotten first if I knew where the jerk was.
I probably did like 3 laps before I found him.
Yep.
I had him. I misplaced him for a second, which is weird. Because I knew I just had to go to the far northeast of the map, to get back to him. But yeah, I did find every location in the end.
Yeah, right ordering definitely came into play on my time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did everything. I mean, I think I did everything in the right order. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I felt really good until, till I got the silver heart or my staff of rain, and then realized I had no idea where to get my rainbow drop.
I was in the same boat, and then I just never went to the northeast corner.
I'm really curious how what order people found Hawksness, and I assume everybody grinded there for a while as soon as they found it.
No, I found it immediately, and I killed the armored knight very early, and then I died on my second one, and then I might have grinded there a little bit later, but not until I did everything else.
Oh, interesting.
I found it fairly quickly, got bounced out by the AK, and then decided to take a short grind in Swamp because I knew there were Knights and Star Wyverns down there.
I don't think I saw either of those in there.
Yeah, the knight was my first kill.
And yeah, I found Mountain first and died like 3 times trying to clear it out. And then the Hawksness was the next thing I found, and I basically made like 3 trips to Hawksness, essentially, like an early trip where I was like, I can kill these AK-47s, but not consistently. Came back after getting a few levels and grinded up to like just shy of go, and then struck out looking for
Yeah.
and then came back at the very end.
I got there. I think it maybe took me 3 trips to Hawksness to kill the Axe Knight the first time. I had in like my first 3 or 4 armored knight. I mean, I had a string in 6 Hurtmores. 4 of them missed.
Gosh.
But yeah, once I saw that they had hurt, I was like, I'm just gonna stay here until I run out of MP before I level up.
Yeah, I think to kind of address, I just figured I'd let you guys talk to each other and ask each other your questions, but it seemed like Zatrex just got out to a bit of an experience lead early on, and that kind of made everything a bit smoother. It wasn't like people were dying tremendously everywhere, but we're just able to do that. Also, first to grave, which mattered a lot. Also, first a large shield for whatever that mattered, because that seemed to be very elusive for everyone as well, up there in Breckenary. But then kind of had to do the full reverse clock search to get over to where Garenham and the Jerk were.
Yeah, Knight first kill is also a big deal. I think my first kill was a Magidrake. No, a Drakey. And then my second encounter in Swamp, I don't remember what it was, but it killed me for sure. It took him 5 minutes or so to get to level 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said before, jkoper.
What did I say?
That's okay. I'm sure you'll repeat it if you remember.
Yeah. I'll think about it for a second.
All right. So yeah, this was a strange one because they gave you a lot, but the one thing that was hiding was the harp, and then of course it was the trade-ins, which some of you found early, and it just sometimes that's, even though you like to find the harp before the harp trade-in, it sometimes just knowing where that is can help, but it just the location of the Rainbow Drop Cave seemed to be the killer there at the end. And like Xarnax said, the end result here was very much up in the air. It felt like for a while this was between Zatrex and Xarnax, and then to be honest, jkoper, you seemed a little bit off pace, but then you found the stuff and were able to grind up. And the fact that you found the Fighter's Ring and Swamp felt like that was going to make 16 go, and I thought the others might go to 17, but you know, they went on 16 anyway.
Yeah, was 15 doable? It was close, right? I don't know.
16 was really dumb. I think I did on my last swing. I think I did 100 58 damage total, and would have died if that wasn't enough.
Oh wow. Yeah, I
Feel doable, I don't think.
was thinking about 15. I didn't do the math thoroughly or anything, but I figured I'll just take a level on the way down, which is safer for multiple reasons. So yeah, just finish the level on the Axe Knight and win on 16. But yeah, I think all I was saying before was that, people had to find, the staff and the drop at the end, but that's when you want to be finding them, just like you were saying. So didn't have to revisit them like I did, I guess.
All right, then. Does anyone have any last questions or any thoughts they want to share with the seed about the seed?
Jerk definitely lived up to his name, the Seed.
I enjoyed this flag set. It was a lot different, but like the level up thing especially really changes your decision making a lot.
Yeah, agreed. In my practice for this, I was taking a lot of earlier dives into Charlock and just grinding at the end if I needed to.
Yeah, definitely one I want to see featured in future winter leagues.
Yeah, it was a good time. Thanks for the race, guys, and thanks for the great commentary team and restream tracking and everything. So, yeah, we'll do this again soon.
GG's, guys, and thanks everybody.
Yeah, we were commenting there might be some rematches from within this group next week if things turn out particular, but not for Zatrex. Zatrex is at 10 points now in Winter League. How are you feeling getting to stand, getting those first 2 wins and kind of maybe getting a chance to be in that Group 1 race that's always so scary and fun?
Kind of shocked, honestly. I think I was in your stream last week saying that I hadn't practiced in a really long time. Honestly, I think that's helping a lot with mindset, because that's always been like my issue, is like I get in my head in the middle of a race. It's also the reason I keep my mic on and don't have clean audio, is because I just like trying to calm my nerves the whole time. So maybe just being out of practice, I'm just assuming I'm going to lose going into every race, so get me out of my head.
All right, well, good luck in going into next week. Archfield, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I don't think so. I had to step away at the beginning of sort of the main chunk of interviews there, so I don't want to repeat anything if it's already been covered, but I just want to thank our racers for stopping by. It was great to hear from all of you about this one. And I do want to point out that we have 2 races on the schedule for tomorrow, and that's Group 3 and Group 4. Group 3 is Icy Tenes, Tybalt, Sausage Link, and Mand. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern, and concurrently, so both of these races will be happening at the same time. Group 4, Dweem, Night Dew, Destiny of a Dragon Warrior, and EMP. So only one of those will get featured tomorrow. Having said that, I don't know that there's anybody right now signed up to volunteer for that one, other than I think it looks like maybe Chirno will be back tracking again tomorrow. So if you're available for that one to restream or to do some commentary, please hop in the DWR Discord. The link is there in chat. If you haven't done so already, please follow our great racers for this one, as well as our great crew. Value V was our restreamer, Zillinor and Chirno doing the tracking. I'm Archfield, and Aaron, thanks so much for joining me on this one. It was a nice race to get to commentate.
Indeed, and thanks everyone for making this very fast, because I am fading a little bit more than I thought I was going to be.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's bedtime here too.
wish. I get to head to work in about an hour.
Oh, no. Well,
I'm sorry to hear
Xarnax,
that.
we hope you have a good day at work. Everybody else, we hope that you have a good night's rest. And everybody in chat, thanks for joining us. I think we're going to send it out to Dr. Mr. Holmes. I'm not actually totally apprised as to what he's doing, but I can reasonably assume that it is Dragon Quest related.
I believe it's Dragon Warrior 3 speedruns, as he got a PB recently.
Remake? Or the original?
I think he's been playing the original.
So there you have it. We're in for some Dragon Warrior 3 NES speedruns. So please stick with us to say hello to Dr. Mr. Holmes. But for here tonight on DW Randomizer, that is the end of our evening. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and we will hopefully see you back here tomorrow for some more Week 2 racing. Take care.